It was really good, thank you very, very much. Right, it's time now to meet my next guest, Alison Demarco. Now, Alison is the author of a book, Dark Storm, Golden Journey, in which she talks openly about the dark storms in her own life. She was abandoned at birth, she's battled with anorexia and cancer, but through it all, she's retained an amazing ability to view her life, as the title of the book says, as a golden journey. Alison, it's great to see you. Yeah. You're a survivor, that's for sure. Yes. You really are. Now, we said, I mean, when you were really small, you had a very traumatic childhood, didn't you?
Yes.
I mean, what age were you when your adoptive mother, she killed herself, as you find out. What age were you?
I was 4.
Just 4 years old?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And your adoptive father married again?
Yeah.
And that was quite traumatic, wasn't it?
That was in the first year after...
Yeah, so it was very shortly after.
After her death,
right.
Yes.
And how did you get on with the stepmother?
We really didn't get on very well at all. You know, there was jealousy. It was difficult. You know, it was very difficult for her, and it was very difficult for me.
Right. So that was very, very hard for you at that time. What were you like as a child growing up then? What sort of problems did you face?
I always really perceived myself as being different and was always told I was different. I had lots of energy, was always in trouble, and was always doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. Right,
and you also had this ability, you were telling me about, being able to see people's aura, or see lights around people, which you thought everybody so that, as you would, if something happens to you as a child, you think everybody else is the same, don't you?
I mean, I thought that was normal, and obviously, you know, other people weren't seeing what I was seeing, and it was fun, you know, to see all this colour dancing around everyone, around every living thing, and so, you know, my life, I just wanted to have fun, but other people obviously didn't see these colours and perceived me as being difficult and different. Right.
So you left home, and you were what? Must have been about 16 when you left home, something like that.
Yeah, just turned 16.
Was there one thing that made you leave, or was it just a growing?
It was just an ongoing accumulation of events, and I think I wanted to take on the world and do, you know, things my own way. I always wanted to do things my own way.
So were you classed as a rebel?
Absolutely,
you were a rebel. You got involved with alcohol. You did drink a lot, which led to you losing loads and loads of weight. I mean, what weight were you at one point? How thin did you get?
I don't know that I really ever knew, but probably around about 6 stone.
And you're tall. I mean, you must have been skin and bone, really.
Well, I was, and I think it was obvious. But by this time, you know, I was on the downward spiral, and I was taking drink really to mask my emotions. You know, I was in denial of a lot of things. I didn't know who I was, and I was searching for something, but I didn't know what I was searching for. So, you know, the drink kind of masked that. And of course, I was out working in a pub, which, you know, I shouldn't have been doing.
Indeed.
And I just got involved in that scene. And it was quite simply, it wasn't a couple of drinks after work. You'd go to a club and a bottle was put down in front of you. And it was a spiral, and the more I drank, the less I ate. The less I ate, you know, basically, you know, it begins that spiral of not eating at all.
Right, so you were hardly taking any food. How did you get out of that? How did you get out of the boozing and the really abusing yourself by not eating properly, not looking after yourself?
I think that was very difficult, but it was actually my boss who kept on at me that I wasn't eating. He had obviously seen that. And I went to my favourite Chinese restaurant to prove I could eat, ordered my favourite meal and realised that I couldn't eat it.
You just couldn't do it?
I couldn't eat it.
Swallow it? So how did you...
It was, I just couldn't even put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
You know. It's a very
So how did you get out of that? I mean, when you stopped the drink, did you substitute drink for something else?
Oh, yeah. I mean, eventually, I mean, how I got out of the anorexia was to take very, very small portions and began to drink less, and I left the job at the pub. And moved on, but then of course I found marijuana, so you know that.
So one kind of addiction, if you like, was taken up by another.
That's right. That seemed a better, you know, better thing, but it wasn't. It was just another downward spiral. And
do you think it's all to do with your childhood, the fact that you had this kind of bad relationship with your stepmother and maybe this other relationship with your adoptive father, which was very strained, as you said? Did you think it's to do with that? It goes back to that?
Well, I think that was partly it, that I was always searching, and in those days I had this dream of who my mother was, and of course she was my real mother, you know, my blood mother, and it was the fairy tale, you know, it was the dream that she was just this wonderful person. I don't think that helped. I think I was different, and I was searching for something which really was the colour, was the sight that I had. So I think there's a whole load of issues. It wasn't just one. but I think the lifestyle of growing up as a child who was different and really who wasn't understood and did have, you know, obviously mother issues certainly led to...
You had a hell of a time when you had a breakdown. Was that the lowest point? You know, everybody says that you always have to reach your lowest point in order to come back up again.
Yeah.
Would you say that was the point where you really were all-time low?
Most definitely, and that was a time that I knew I had a choice to live or die, and I certainly didn't want to live the way I was living, which was, you know, with this anger and this frustration.
I mean, that's you with your wee girl. You've got 2 children.
Yes.
That's you with your wee girl. Did they help, your children help you sort of claw your way back out again?
Definitely. I mean, I looked at them and I didn't want to be angry at them, and I loved them. But there was huge triggers of how I behaved and treated them, you know, and how they treated me in my childhood. And I was not ever taught, or I never knew how to be a mother, really.
No, I understand. I do understand what you're saying. It was almost a chance meeting that turned things around. You met this aromatherapist. You were saying you actually went for some treatment. Was that right? And
yeah.
And she kind of helped you. She sort of tapped into something, didn't she?
I mean, the hospitals couldn't deal with me, and it turned out I was having panic attacks, which I didn't even know what they meant, and my heart was racing. They eventually put me on a heart monitor, and it was peaking to 150. And they gave me beta blockers, but somewhere along the line, I'd made a decision to live, and I was very lucky to see an advert for an aromatherapist, and I went to her.
And that really turned it around, because that's when you started talking about this sort of auras that you can see.
Yes.
And whatever people may think, you can see them.
Yes.
You see these things. And then did that sort of, was that like unlocking a key to you?
Absolutely,
do you think?
because for the first time someone said, my goodness, you know, everything you've been through life, no wonder you're in the state you are. And then she understood what I was talking about when I told her I could see colour.
And you do help a lot of people. And you've got these 3 bottles here. This is part of the therapy, isn't it? This is only a small selection. There's a lot of them. There's over, what, 40 odds?
There's 49.
49 bottles. People sit and talk to you.
Yes.
Using colour, if you like.
Yes.
You were saying that they pick 4 that they like and 4 that they don't like, and then you can talk about it and get people to talk more.
Yes.
Is that really your mission in life? You want to help other people who have gone through what you've gone through to understand themselves?
There are so many people who do want to know more about themselves. So many people are searching for something, they don't know what. And at the moment, you know, with the increase of depression, suicides, cancer, there's a great need for us to transform our lives, and it is possible, you know, especially I came down this road of being, you know, nothing and sitting in a void of nothingness. At school being told I wasn't any good at English to writing a book.
Well, yeah, you've written a book, and you've called it Dark Storm Golden Journey. I mean, do you, even with all that's happened to you, you look back, you still think it's been a golden journey? Did you ever,
absolutely.
Yeah. Did you ever think you'd get to the situation you're in now?
I didn't know the situation I'm in now existed.
Right.
You know, it was, but there is this hope. There is this other way of living, and it's standing up and getting to know yourself and human behaviour and how we act and how we react, and it's wonderful. And certainly the colour plays an enormous role because it's a language, and so, you know, people can self-select their colours and know exactly what's going on for them and how they're behaving. And of course we do aura drawing, we know what's going on an emotional and on a physical level as well. And we also do this with animals. We're able to, you know, so many people have animals and they worry about their animals, so we're able to tap on a telepathic level and pick up and decode the frequencies.
Well, Alison, it's been fascinating talking to you. Good luck with the book Dark Storm Golden Journey, and thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thanks.
Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Right, coming up next, fashion stylist Nicole Simmons with the latest in leather. Also, Joe Ellen's observations.
But Don Hutchinson, the man who scored their winner against Germany, is out. The fixture